everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Zapier 101, How to Get Started with Zapier. I know you all probably have a lot of things you could be doing with your time, so we really appreciate you spending it here with us. Also, I love to see how many people we have joining us from all over the world. It's so cool. My name is Katie, and I'm going to be moderating today's event. And before we get started, I just want to go over a few housekeeping items. So first of all, this webinar will be recorded, and you'll get an email with the recording afterwards. And all attendees are muted, but if you do have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box. And we have Lori on our line from our support team, and she's going to try her best to get to those during the webinar. And if we can't get to them, we're going to try to get to them at the end of our webinar for Steve to answer some of our questions live. And there will also be a survey at the end of the webinar, and we'd love it if you could fill it out and give us any feedback you might have so that we can improve our future events. All right, let's get started. So I would like to first introduce our speaker today, Steve Vakiswaran. Steve, can we get on the next slide? Okay, cool, awesome. Steve works on our business operations team, and he supports our leadership teams and tackles a variety of different projects across the organization. And we're really lucky to have him here today to show us how to get started with Zapier. All right, so remember, you can ask all the questions you want in the chat box at the bottom of the screen, and we'll either answer them at the end of the webinar or we'll try our best to have Lori answer those in real time. And with that, I'm going to let Steve take it away. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Katie, and welcome everyone to Zapier 101. My name is Steve, and I'm here to teach you how to use Zapier so you can automate anything. A quick run through on the agenda today. We're going to talk about what Zapier is and give you some ideas on how you can use Zapier to create automated workflows. We call those Zaps, and that will save you some time. Then we'll go into a live demo where I'll show you A, how to find Zaps that work for you, and B, go through how to create a Zap, and we'll finish up with some Q&A. Awesome. So let's start at the very beginning. What is Zapier? Zapier is a tool that allows you to connect your web apps to each other and move information between them automatically. Essentially, it helps you forget busy work and focus on what really matters. You can connect apps like MailChimp, Gmail, Slack, Salesforce, and over 2,000 other apps. So there's a really good chance that you're going to find the apps that you use every single day. A little bit more about us and some quick stats on us as a company. We are currently number 33 on the Forbes Cloud 100 apps. This is a list that Forbes put together showing what they think are the best private cloud companies in the world. And we made number 33, which I think is pretty cool. Number two, something that makes us unique is the fact that we are a fully remote company. We've never had a central office. This means we get to work with some of the smartest folks in the world, and we typically get together a couple times a year for all hands and our company offsites. We currently have about 315 employees across the world, and we empower over 5 million individuals and companies to streamline their workflows. On average, we save around 40 hours per month per person. Isn't that incredible? And for those of you who are wondering, it's Zapier, not Zapier. A good little trick there is Zapier rhymes with happier. That's how you pronounce it. So a little bit more on unleashing your Zaps. Zapier allows you to connect the software you use every day and automatically send information between them without having to know one line of code. Our simple to use editor was built for anyone to use. You can quickly A, connect your apps together, B, set up your workflows, and C, do all of this without needing any help from IT or your developers. And here's a quick snapshot again of those 2,000 plus apps that we have on our platform. There are literally billions of combinations possible. So let's get started into some Zapier terminology. You first want to start by picking some apps that you'd like to connect and then decide what you want to happen automatically. So on this screen, we can see that the first app that we've picked is MailChimp, which is a email service provider, email marketing automation provider right at the top. So you start with an app and an event, say Typeform. And when you get a new response, we call this a trigger. Now we need something to happen within that MailChimp app, and we call this an action. So for example, when we get a brand new form submission within MailChimp, we can, in this case, add that as a lead to our CRM, and that part is called an action. And a Zap is a combination of exactly that. A trigger at the top, which is a new form submission via MailChimp, and an action, which is when that happens, let's add that lead to our CRM. And there you have it. That's an example of our first Zap, and we'll go through many, many, many more examples and even build our own. So here's another example of how Zapier could help you in your work. This Zap helps you consolidate information into a Google Sheets spreadsheet. Spreadsheets are a great place to store all kinds of information. In fact, Google Sheets is one of the most used apps on Zapier, but it's time consuming to add information to a spreadsheet, and there's always chance of human error. In this example, Zapier is taking information from a Typeform contact us form on the left and sending it to our Google Sheet as a lead. This Zap gets your leads into a spreadsheet so you can see them in one place and easily share it with your team. Remember, this is just one way that you can use Zapier. There are many, many, many more options for all of these apps. Here's another example. So in this example, we have Facebook and Gmail. You might be using Facebook today to capture your leads. This Zap helps you quickly follow up to the people that reach out via Facebook, and all it takes is a few clicks in advance, and Zapier can make this happen automatically and provide a personal touch. So that goes a long way with a lot of your leads. You can set up a similar workflow no matter where your leads come from. If you get leads through forms like Typeform, as we discussed before, through MailChimp, through a newsletter provider, through a CRM like HubSpot, all of that works, and you can just set up a Zap automatically that sends an email from you to your new lead. This is an example of a multi-step flow that you can create in Zapier. So here we have Facebook, Gmail, and Slack all working together. From one trigger event, so on the left, when someone fills out your Facebook lead form, you can have Zapier move the information into two other apps so you can automatically send them an email and send an alert to your team so it's easy to follow up. So in this case, someone fills out a Facebook lead on the left. We then take that lead and send them a personalized follow-up email. At the same time, we're sending a message in Slack, maybe to your sales team, to let them know that someone has signed up. You can make one Zap do several jobs for you. The possibilities are endless. There are Zaps that can save time across your organization. So always be on the lookout for opportunities to help other departments and other folks save time as well. So again, this is just a quick little review on some of our terminology. On the first end, we have an app, and this is a web service or application that you want to connect with Zapier. So this is anywhere from Slack, HubSpot, Salesforce, or any of the other opportunities that we have there. A trigger is an event that starts your Zap. So at this point, it could be a new lead from Facebook. It could be a new message in Slack. It could be a new webinar in Zoom. The possibilities really are endless. And a Zap is the combination of an app, a trigger, and an action. And it's our term for the automated workflows that you send between your apps. And if you're not yet using Zapier, or you already have an account but don't use it enough, here are a few ways you can engage with Zapier to make your life easier. Number one, engaging leads. Using Zapier, you can engage your leads instantly by delivering a personal message the moment someone reaches out. That allows you to act quickly on opportunities. Number two, importing customers. You could automatically import your new customers from your e-commerce website into your CRM, or maybe even your email marketing platform. Number 3, notifying your team. You can notify your team about new opportunities, maybe send out a Slack message or email when you get a new sign up to your blog or make a new sale. And 4th, saving time. So this is one of my favorites. A colleague's husband used to be in charge of the blog at his workplace and saved hours each week by sharing the blog on staggered posts to all social media sites using Zapier. And with that context, we're ready to jump into Zapier so I can show you how easy it is to create a Zap. So I am going to pop out of this share here and take us to the homepage. Just quickly. Great. So this is the homepage on Zapier.com. As you can see here, you can sign in via Google, Facebook, and a bunch of different options. I'm just going to go in and sign up quickly because we already have an account. Great. This is our central dashboard. So this is the first thing that you will see when you get into Zapier. We'll come back to this area, but really quickly, you can find a couple of different apps here and figure out how to connect many of those quite easily. We'll come back here. Before this, let's actually show you a couple other areas around the site. The first one is the app directory. This is where all of our apps live. So that 2,000 plus apps that I mentioned earlier all live over here. They're sorted by different categories. So you can go in and see what's available. We can see some of our most popular apps. What I love to use this page for is to actually just see what's possible with some of my favorite apps that I like to use. So a lot of us may be going remote recently and using Zoom a lot. So let's actually see what Zoom has to offer. Great. This is a Zoom app page. And on this page at the very top, you can see what's possible with Zoom. You can find a bunch of different other apps to connect with, and we can start to build Zaps. So as an example, if I wanted to connect Zoom plus Slack, boom, all of a sudden I've got this possibility / integration page that tells me all of the different things that I can do with Zoom and Slack. So everything from setting up a new meeting to a new channel to a new recording, you've got all of that information, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Oftentimes, there are very popular ways to connect Zoom and Slack and other integrations right at the bottom. So you can always just try it and use one of those apps. Zoom is just one quick example, but I'd love to show you a couple more. So the first one is Facebook lead ads. Here, you can see a bunch of different possibilities with Facebook lead ads and the 84 pages of integrations that are possible with Facebook lead ads as well. So you have sample apps like sending emails from Gmail for new Facebook leads, integrating Facebook with ActiveCampaign. A lot of things are possible there. A couple more examples. Maybe you're in sales and you want to see if Zapier can work with your CRM. We've got HubSpot as an option here. We can also go in and check out Salesforce as an option. We can also go in and check out Google Sheets, which is the example that we had shared before. So as a reminder, if you go into the apps page, you can find this app directory and really find out what's possible with all of these different apps here. The second thing, now that we know how this works, let's actually get into building a quick little Zap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into our workflow here, and I'm going to build our first Zap together. So we are going to play with Typeform today. And for those of you that aren't familiar, Typeform is a form submission website that makes it very easy to collect responses for events, capture your leads, and all that fun stuff. So Typeform first, and we are going to connect that with Gmail. And we are going to make a Zap. And for a visual, I've actually gone on and set up a sample type form entry right here. So all of us on this call, we are now part of a digital product agency. And what we're gonna do using Typeform is collect leads for our business. So let's actually just walk through and fill out this example together. So how can we help you? We all need a website built. Great. We are looking for a landing page, and we are going to give them information. So our name is Steve. We work at Zapier. This is very, very urgent for us. And you know what? The sky's the limit with our budget. We don't have any files to share. And our email is there. Submit. So this has gone into Typeform now, and it's sitting within the Typeform app. But what we want to be able to do is follow up with leads like this in a very urgent manner. And we want to be able to get them set up for a phone call so we can actually learn more about their needs. So what we're going to do is go back into our editor. And this is what your editor looks like within Zapier. So remember our definitions of an app, a trigger, and an action. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do here is choose our app, which is Typeform. And what we're going to say is we're going to choose a trigger event, which is a new entry. And this is when a new response is submitted to Typeform. It creates a new entry. And we're going to hit continue. Now it's going to prompt us to sign into Typeform. We've got this set up. And we have now quickly signed into Typeform. You can also have many different accounts. So if you've got other accounts within that same app, you can always sign in via here. Great. So now what we've done is we've chosen our app, we've chosen our trigger, and we've connected our accounts. Now it's time to build our action. And we're going to choose our default form here. Let's say Steve's test type form. And right over here, it's pulling in different fields. We will hit continue. And now what we're going to do is we are going to test and see if our response that came into Typeform is being pulled in and Zapier is able to read it. This helps us make sure that we have all of the different fields mapped out correctly. And great, it looks like we found our answer. So this is what we just filled out together. We asked for a landing page. We gave in our name, the company, we said how urgent our project was, the budget, and then we also indicated an email. This is important because all of this information is going to be how we automate some of our outreach later. Great. Now we're going to pick our action. So the app we're going to use is Gmail. You can use any email provider that connects with Zapier, and we are going to send an email because we want to follow up with this group ASAP. I've already connected my Gmail here, so I'm going to click that account. But again, if you'd like to add a different account, you can always do so here very easily. Voila. This is where the magic happens. So now we get a chance to personalize our email outreach, and we get to do a lot of cool things in this area. This, if you can see all of these headers, a lot of this is just the anatomy of a normal email that you would send without Zapier. And what we're able to do now is we're able to actually automate a lot of different areas here based off of some of the information that you've shared. So first thing, who do we want to send this email to? Well, we want to send this email to whomever fills out this lead form. So what we're going to do is click here, and we asked for their email within our form right there. So one of the questions was, and finally, what's your email address? And it's got, my name because that was the response that it pulled in. So for whomever comes in, we want to send it to their email address. You can also send this to multiple email addresses if you want, but we don't need that for now. Where do we want to send it from? We want to send it from the account that we registered. Again, this might look very different for your company. It might be sales@yourcompany.com, marketing at. You can choose to link whatever accounts you'd like. the from name. So let's say Steve's Awesome Marketing Company. This allows us to personalize who they're getting this email from. And we are going to say that the subject is, let's say, hey, and let's personalize this for their name. Hey, what's your name? So, hey, Steve, comma, thanks for reaching out, exclamation mark. And in the body, I've already got this kind of set up here, but what we're going to say is, let's see, what do we want to do here? We probably want to get their email, send them an email and let them know that we received their lead. And we want to ask them when they're available to hop on the phone next week. And we can use some of those personalization tokens that we have here. So let's say, hey, first name. So show all my options, comma, thanks for reaching out about your, and what project did they want? They wanted a landing page project. We're excited to help you out. Are you available to hop on a call sometime this week? Even better, if you've got a Calendly link, you can always link that in here. But again, anything's really possible. Thanks, Steve. Great. We don't really want any personalization on signature. Mailbox is fine. We can add any attachments that we'd like here, but we don't really have any right now. And let's hit continue and see what happens. Great. So now this is a little bit of an example of what that email is going to look like. It's going to send to Steve. It's going to be from me because this is a demo. It's from Steve's Awesome Marketing Company. And here's where you can see some of the personalization in play, which is, hey, Steve. It automatically fills in whatever they've requested for and sends them out this email. And this happens immediately after they fill out a form. So let's test this again. Great, a test email was sent to your Gmail right now. Let's go find this one. Oops. Great, looks like I just got it. So 0 minutes ago, hey Steve, thanks for reaching out about your landing page project. We're excited to help you out. Boom, thanks, Steve. So it looks like everything worked. So the last step for us here is we're done editing and your Zap is ready to turn on. So we're going to hit, before we turn it on the left-hand side, we're going to name our Zap and we're going to say lead confirmation reach out Zap. And we are going to turn this on. So now your Zap is on. And this means that any other entries that come into this type form that we built together will have that same automated email that goes out. And it's that easy. If you go to your Zaps, you're able to find all these different apps. This is the one that we just built together. And check mark, looks like everything's working. So that's one example of Zap. Let's just do another quick one to see if we can just show you how easy this one is. Let's make a Zap and let's say, a lot of us are working remotely now. Let's say that every time there's a Zoom meeting, every time there's a new Zoom meeting, we're going to sign into Zoom really quickly, sign in with Google, sure, great. So I'm notorious for being late to meetings because sometimes they call, or sometimes these meetings happen at 12 o'clock and I need a nice little nudge to remind me that I've got a meeting. So there's a new meeting, continue, test and continue. Green check mark, looks like they've found some new meetings. And what I want is for someone to send me an email that says, you've got a meeting and you need to be there. So we've already pre-built our Gmail. And we're going to send this to my email. And we are going to say from ZoomBot, we are going to say, you have a meeting, be on time. And in the body, we can actually include what the meeting is. So we've got a meeting topic there, and we've got a nifty little URL so we can join really quickly. And continue. Great. So you have a meeting, be on time. We're sending this email out. Looks like everything's great. Test and continue. We've got another check mark, and we're done. Again, we'll go name this Zap, and we will turn it on, and it'll start working. So there you have it. We built 2 Zaps really quickly, and that's how easy things are. I want to show you a couple other areas on the site that you can actually find a lot of help in. Let's go back to Zapier.com. Great. So when you're back on Zapier, you can actually go to zapier.com/apps. And this was the app directory that we had found earlier. You can also go to the Explore tab. This is one of my personal favorites. This is where you can go where you might not have an idea of what you want to automate, but you know what tools you're using. So if you input your tech stack right in here, we'll actually give you perfect matches for some of your apps and what are popular things for us to work on. So let's say we are a marketer and we use Gmail and we use MailChimp and we use Trello to keep track of our stuff, Facebook leads ads and Google Forms. Great. And now we've got some automatic recommendations of how you can use these within your own workflows. So that's the Explore tab. You can also go to Tips and Advice, which will give you our great blog. You can see a lot of cool different articles that are written out by our team that are here. One of my favorite things here is the guide section, where you can actually find ways to just be better at your role. So if it's customer support, email, project management, CRM, e-com, and within these things, there are nifty little zaps and automations that you can use to make your day and life better. And last but not least, this is a lot of information, but you can always reach our trusty support team. So if you go right into this left navigation bar into Get Help, you can always reach out to them. There are a bunch of help docs that are provided here. And right at the bottom, you can contact support. You can go to our community, which has questions posed from other folks, or you can hire an expert. And these are individuals that are professionals around the globe that have experience building Zaps. And that is it for this session. So I'm going to pass it back to Katie now to talk through a lot of our Q&A.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Steve. That was great. So we have quite a bit of questions. And I just want to remind everyone that we will be sending out the recording after. So look out for that probably either today or tomorrow or Monday. And we also have a survey at the end of this webinar. We'd love your feedback. If you can go and fill that out for us, that would be great so we can improve future webinars. Okay, so let's do this, Steve. Let's look at the questions. Okay, is Zapier more geared towards consumers, or is it also good for businesses to use?
Yeah, great question. So Zapier is geared towards both consumers and businesses. So on the consumer end, you can go in and automate things to make your day-to-day life easier. But on the businesses end, we have 2 products, which are Zapier for Teams and Zapier for Companies, that are designed for a lot of collaboration within your orgs. And those come with additional features that are pertaining to that group.
Great. Okay, this person says, I have a larger company. I'm in a larger company. Do you have specific plans for companies versus individuals?
Yep. So again, we've got 2 different plans there, Zapier for Teams and Zapier for Companies. Just a quick little overview with those additional plans. We help a lot of folks keep their Zaps secure. So things like security and single sign-on features are common there. I encourage everyone to go to zapier.com/companies to check that out, and you'll see more information there.
Great. All right. Is there a limit of steps in one Zap that you can do?
There is no limit, as far as I know. Lori, is there a better answer for that?
Oh, sorry, I was I was looking at something else. Repeat the question, please.
Is there,
Is there a limit of steps in one Zap that you can do?
So officially we're at about 125. Anything more than that, and it's just too much for the everyday browser to be able to load. So we wouldn't recommend going any higher than 125.
Okay.
But know that even that 125, you're going to have some trouble loading that on your browser, just because of like the way the internet is right now.
Great. Thank you, Lori. We might have to have you pop on for a few more of these questions. Okay. Does Zapier work? Okay. We got a lot of questions of people asking if specific Zaps could be used, like Zoom, HubSpot, Outlook, G Suite, Airtable, ConnectWise, WeTransfer, Salesforce, WordPress, Eventbrite, Zoho, Trello, Stripe. So, Steve, where can people find out if their app can be used?
yeah, good question. Zapier.com/apps. Go in there, type it in. There's a really good chance that we have it. On first glance, looks like we support most of those apps that are listed there. But go in and check it out.
Awesome. Okay, if we like to use Zapier but are not sure what is the best way for our company, is there someone who can help us?
Yep. So feel free to go to zapier.com/companies, and you can start a quick little trial. You can write into our support desk and they will help you navigate. Or I think there's an email being sent out right after this. Feel free to fill out the email, respond to it, and someone will be in touch ASAP.
Great. Okay, what is a task compared to a Zap?
Yeah, so a Zap is, the best way to think about it is Zaps are a combination of apps and triggers. Tasks are the single count of that action. So let's use a quick little example. If you are using Facebook and Gmail and you'd like all your leads to be stored in or sent to an email as soon as they come in, that entire action is called a Zap. And every time that fires, that is a task. So you can think about tasks in that situation as number of leads that are coming in.
Great. And Steve, not sure if you know this answer, but does it cost more money in your plan the more apps that you use or the more that Zaps that you do if you use multiple functions?
That'd be a great question for Lori. If not, we can have them write into our support team.
Okay.
Sorry, ask the question again.
Lori, does it cost more money in your plan the more apps that you use or the more Zaps that you perform?
Okay,
You know?
so all of our apps can be integrated with each other. So our 2,000 plus apps, you can have Zaps, go crazy, match them all up, and that's fine. Our plans are actually based on the number of Zaps that you have live in your account and the number of tasks you run each month. Now, for tasks, we consider a task every time there's a successful action. So let's say you have a Zap that has 10 action steps, 1 trigger steps. If all of those 10 action steps complete successfully, this counts as 10 tasks towards your usage. So every plan gives you a set number of Zaps that you can have and a set number of tasks. So you can always upgrade if you find you need more tasks at the end of the month. You can also downgrade if you find that your business changes and you don't need as many moving forward. But each plan comes with a set number of tasks that you can use every month.
Great, thank you. Okay. Steve, do you have any examples of Zaps that are the best for time saving, just in your everyday life or with work?
Yeah, for sure. So 2 Zaps that are really helpful for me. The first one is if you use Slack, you know that that is an place where there's just so much information and sometimes you can't get to all the different conversations or threads that you want to respond to. So one Zap that I use is I star message in Slack and it automatically sends that to my to-do list. So at the end of the day, I'm able to see on apps like Asana, Trello, Todoist, and whatever else, all the different conversations that I need to catch up on. So that's just one quick example there.
Awesome. Are these Zaps usually made by frontline employees of companies, or do you see mainly IT teams doing Zaps for the entire team or organization?
Yeah, so we see everyone building Zaps. Our goal here is to democratize automation. There are different Zaps that you can build for different use cases. So really, anyone can go in and build in. That's what we typically see.
Okay, awesome. All right. Okay, this is a question based on the example that you created with the Gmail email. So in Steve's example, after the Gmail was sent, is there a way to set up a follow-up email or another Zap dependent on that one, whether a reply happened or not?
Absolutely. Yeah. So one of the apps that we have when you go to zapier.com/apps is if this, then that kind of functionality. And based off of if you had a response, you can end this app. If you didn't get a response, you can send a follow-up with a specific time frame. So maybe 2 days or 3 days later, you'd like to provide them with a friendly little nudge, you're able to do that.
Great. Okay, a lot of great questions. We're not going to be able to get to all of them, but thank you all for submitting them. And if you do have other questions, you can go to the contact form on our site or contact support as well if you have anything technical. Someone asked, this is beyond my technical ability. Can Zapier provide me with someone who can set up what I need?
Absolutely. So this is where our expert program comes in to place. Feel free to respond back to the email that's being sent out after this webinar, and we'll make sure that you get in touch with someone that can help you build this up for them.
Great. Can you put a request in for an app that's maybe not in your library?
Can you repeat that question?
Can you put a request in?
I can jump in on this one. Sorry.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
we have a huge wish list. We love to know what people want. So 100% write into contact@zapier.com. Let us know the app that you'd like us to add. I will say that it's probably easier and faster to try to get the person or the app themselves to build it, because they're more likely to build it than we are likely to build it. So if you want, random super awesome app, write out to super awesome app and say, hey, I'd really like to see you on Zapier, and they can do that. In a second, I'll post in the chat how to do that. If the app has an API, you might also be able to use our webhooks app to connect to the app, even if we don't have an official app. You can also build your own, because it is free to do. You can build your own app on Zapier and go ahead and have that connecting on your own.
Thanks, Lori. Also, the next question was about webhooks. So can you explain what is a webhook and how it's different to a Zap?
Sure. So sort of.
Okay. It doesn't have to get too technical.
Yeah, no. So our webhooks app is a way to connect apps that don't already have an integration on Zapier. So a lot of our apps actually do use webhooks, but they have they give you the webhook, or we give you the webhook, and they give you a place to put that URL. So essentially it's a URL, a webhook is a URL that information goes to. So if, for example, I think there's a WordPress form app, I want to say Gravity Forms, that says, give us the Zapier webhook URL, and then anytime a form is submitted, it gets sent to that URL, that triggers the Zap, we get the information about that submission, and it goes through the rest of your Zap. If that doesn't exist, if they don't have an integration on Zapier, but you have that URL that you can send information to, or you have a way to send information to a URL, you can use our webhooks app and have that send to us through the webhooks trigger. Or also we have a webhooks action, so you can send information to that URL. So it really depends on the app that you're playing with and whether or not they have a way to send or receive information to a webhook URL.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Is there a place where I can access more trainings and get more information about Zapier? That is true. Yes, you can. We have a YouTube channel, actually. There's a lot of 101 videos there that you can see. You can also see all of our past recorded webinars. We actually have a webinar that we did in January that is also Zapier 101, where we walk you through different Zaps. So you can go check that out. That's on our YouTube channel. And then we have a ton of information, like Steve mentioned previously, on our website, where you can go and you can just even click buttons that say try it and try different apps. You can click on the apps that you use the most and then you can try them out, see if they work for you. So yeah, and then we'll obviously be posting and giving you this recording afterward as well. All right, let's see here. Great questions. There's a lot of technical questions. You can always write into our support team for those. Steve, do you offer an account type that's specifically suited for marketing?
Nope, we don't. But that being said, what we typically see for marketing organizations are folks on the teams or companies plan where they are able to set up different permissions. Marketers can also just get started on really any of our plans, starter, pro, whatever. So yes, but we don't offer a marketing specific plan.
Okay. All right. Looks like we got time for another question here. Is it possible, so you were doing the transfer to the Gmail, the type form to Gmail. Is it possible to transform messages from one format to another when using Zaps?
I feel like I need a bit more information there on
Okay.
how that's possible. Lori, is that something that's come up before or that you can answer with this information?
Yeah, I think it depends on the app that you're using. So like what do you mean by format? What's the format that you're sending? What's the format that you want to send? How you're sending it. If it's a specific thing, and I know there's a lot of these questions that I haven't gotten to in the chat. If it's specific to your Zap, you're probably going to get better access if you just write into our support team at contact@zapier.com, where we can actually look at your Zaps and sort of see what's going on, see why things aren't working, try to see if your use case is possible, rather than us sort of having a million people here trying to figure out what is the thing and trying to, guesstimate, which is, so probably, I'm going to say as a probably, but again, it would depend on the apps and the formats.
Great. All right. Thank you everybody so much for joining us on your Friday. We really appreciate it, and we hope you learned something. Again, we will be sending out the recording afterwards. Once you pop off of here, there will be a survey. We'd love if you could fill it out. And thank you so much, Steve and Lori. And thank you everybody for all of your great questions and for sticking with us. Have a great weekend.